The Baylor Bears offense under Robert Griffin III was one of the most explosive and exciting offenses in college football history. Led by Art Briles, Baylor's Veer and Shoot was all about high-octane, relentless aggression and keeping defenses on their heels. RG3's dynamic playmaking ability allowed Baylor to stretch defenses vertically and horizontally, making them a nightmare for opponents. Today we're diving into how to bring this incredible scheme to life in College Football 25, focusing on the key principles that made Baylor's offense so dangerous. Now, this offense is part of a bigger scheme where we're going to be breaking down 3 of the best Veer and Shoot offenses of all time, with each of them getting their own video. But because we're going to be using the Mississippi State playbook for all of them, you'll be able to mix and match elements from each one to create one unstoppable offense. Now, if you want to check out everything that I have for this big Veer and Shoot scheme, I'll link the playlist down below. Now, the first formation we're looking at is wide slot right weak. This formation gives us a trips look to one side of the field with a tight end in an H-back role. Baylor often used similar formations to create mismatches and open up the field for their playmakers. This formation has a great running back swing package, which we're going to break down in more detail later, and it creates a ton of issues for defenses. The formation features a great mix of RPOs, QB runs, and vertical shots, providing numerous opportunities to exploit defensive weaknesses. And with the ability to utilize both quick hitting plays and deep bombs, we can effectively challenge both man and zone coverage at all levels of the field. Now, the first play we're looking at is PA deep choice. This is a classic Veer and Shoot play with multiple option routes, making it highly effective versus zone coverage and great to attack every level of the field. To set this up, come out with your slot to the wide side of the field, then put your H-back player on a post route, then take the solo backside receiver and put him on a streak. Now, versus single high zone, both option routes will run deep sit routes. The H-back post will attack the middle and the slot will settle into the open middle of the field. If the linebackers stay inside on the post, hit the slot as he sits down. Then if they widen out and take away the sit route, then you can hit the post over the middle. Then if the middle of the field isn't open, you can high-low the flat defender with the outside option route and the running back in the flat and just take whichever one is open. Now, versus 2 high zone, the inside read remains the same with the H-back running that post route and the slot running the option, and you can just go to whichever one is open. However, the outside receiver will now run a post over the middle, targeting the vulnerable seam between the safeties. If the linebackers stay shallow, it opens up an opportunity to hit the post route in behind them for a big pickup. Then if all the deeper options are taken away, then the running back in the flat serves as a reliable check down option on this play. The next formation we're breaking down is wide slot left weak. This formation gives us a balanced 2x2 look with a tight end in an H-back role once again. And this really is similar to what Baylor ran to keep defenses spread while still giving them the ability to run the ball with an extra blocker. By spreading out defenses, we can effectively create mismatches, forcing defenders to account for multiple threats on every play. We're going to leverage a strong mix of pre-snap motion and creative play action to get our receivers open. Also, the formation supports some powerful QB runs that take advantage of light boxes, as well as vertical shots to push the ball downfield and keep defenses on their heels. Now, the first play we're going to be looking at is exit RPO alert screen. This RPO play is excellent for putting pressure on the defense. We want to run the screen to the short side of the field, and it includes an auto motion by our tight end to provide an extra blocker. Once you snap it, the tight end will motion across the field and become that extra blocker for you, giving us a really nice numbers advantage on the edge. And if we do have a numbers advantage, then we can just throw that screen and have a ton of space on the outside. And this can become super explosive with that tight end as the extra blocker. However, if the defense reacts by overloading the edge with additional defenders, then you want to hand the ball off to the running back and take advantage of the light box that defense has now left us. The next play we have is exit PA fake screen. This play action pass features the same tight end auto motion across the formation, making it perfect to use off that screen pass, and it has some excellent vertical concepts to push the ball down the field. To set this up, have your 2 receivers to the short side, then take the outside receiver and put him on a deep cross and put the inside slot receiver on a streak. Now, for the reads on this play, first you want to look to your tight end wheeling up the sideline after the auto motion. As he clears the flat defender, you can drop this pass in behind him for a huge gain. This route can get wide open along the sideline with the deep blue defender getting pulled back and creating a ton of space behind the flat defender. If the wheel route is taken away by a deep zone or a well-positioned safety, shift your focus to the deep cross over the middle of the field. This crosser is an excellent option against zone coverage as it attacks the soft spots between the linebackers and the safeties, and it can lead to some nice pickups down the field. Then if the user defender chooses to follow that deep cross, take advantage of the space vacated underneath and hit that shallow cross. This is your safety valve and provides an easy, consistent option that can keep the chains moving. Then our third formation we're going to break down is gun wide 5 wide receivers. This is a true 5 wide wide set with super wide receiver splits, something Baylor used extensively to maximize space and create natural mismatches all over the field. The wide splits force defenders to cover more ground, stretching them horizontally and making it extremely difficult for defenders to disguise their coverage. This formation is ideal for incorporating RPO screens and QB runs to easily pick up yardage out of the empty look. Additionally, we're going to focus heavily on taking deep shots to exploit both man and zone coverage, as these super wide splits create a ton of one-on-one matchups that are perfect for attacking downfield. Now, the first play we're looking at is choice deep drag, a fantastic deep shot play capable of being a one-play touchdown against cover 3, and then we have a ton of other really good options across the field that can attack all types of zone coverage. To set this up, start with the trips to the short side, then motion over the slot fade route, then take the outside receiver on the short side and put him on a comeback. Then for an optional adjustment you can make is you can stem the outside option route on the wide side and you can just make it a little bit deeper. Now for the reads, versus cover 3, as the motion slot clears the middle safety, you can bomb them deep over the top with a pass lead, and you want to keep this away from the safety in the middle of the field. And if you have speed at this wide out spot, it can be a one-play touchdown. Now versus match coverage, the defenders can get totally confused and will leave this slot completely wide open for one-play touchdowns versus match coverage as well. Now versus single high zone, both of our option routes will convert to curls sitting down at about 15 yards, and you can just look to whichever one is left open by reading the leverage of the defenders, and you can just fire it into either one. Now against two high safeties in zone coverage, the inside slot receiver will convert his route into a wheel up the sideline, aiming for the soft spot between the flat and the safety, and you can drop this in for some big gains. The other option route will turn into a post over the middle, targeting the gap between the safeties. If the linebacker stays shallow to protect against the shorter routes, fire in the post behind them for a big gain. Now the drag across the field serves as a check down on this play. This route is perfect if the deeper options are covered or if the pressure forces you to get the ball out quickly. Then the other play we're breaking down here is scissors. This is a great man beater that gives us 4 really good options to attack man coverage, and they all hit different parts of the field. Here, come out with our trips to the wide side, then take the outside receiver on the wide side and put him on a streak, then put the inside slot and put him on a post, then motion the outside receiver on the short side of the field in, and then put him on a whip. Now for the reads, look to the inside slot on the corner route. This route is designed to create separation against man coverage, and you want to throw it as he breaks toward the sideline, and this is really good to keep the ball away from the user in the middle of the field. Now, if the user defender follows this corner route to help, immediately shift your eyes over to the other side of the field to the post route, and this is going to replace the user in the middle of the field. This is designed to take advantage of the space vacated by the user, and it can lead to some big gains over the middle. If there's no safeties deep, you can look to the post route from the trip side for a potential deep shot. This route can be a home run play if the receiver gets a clean release and can outrun the coverage, making it an ideal target for a big play when the middle of the field is left open. Then lastly, we have the whip, and this is our check down or hot versus the blitz. This route develops quickly and provides an easy target if you're under pressure or if everything is covered down the field. Now, if you want to take your game to the next level, you need to check out my website, Scheme Kings. Up right now at part 3 of this Baylor RG3 offense, where I break down 9 more plays that you can add to everything you learn here. It includes some really strong runs and some great ways to push the ball down the field versus man and zone defenses, and it's all going to be based around the veer and shoot. Then also up on the site, we have another mini scheme for this offense and a ton more coming for this whole veer and shoot scheme that will only be found on the site. Then there's also a ton of different offensive schemes on the site. Also, like my dual threat QB offense, where I break down some of the greatest running QBs of all time and how you can use them to their full potential in both Madden and College Football 25. Then also have my spread to run offense, where I broke down 3 of the best college offenses of all time. And I have multiple defenses on the site, like my Nick Saban defensive scheme that works for both Madden and College Football 25. So by subscribing to the site, you'll also get access to all my Madden 25 content and my College Football 25 content for one price. So if you want to purchase memberships, you can get the yearly membership, which will save you $50 over the course of the year. Then I'm also running my mobile QB sale on the site, and this will run until November 28th. Use code VEER at checkout to get 50% off your first month if you do the monthly membership. Now, if you want to check out the site, I will link it down below. In this section, we're going to break down what we can learn from Baylor's real-life implementation of this veer and shoot offense and how you can bring those strategies to life in College Football 25. Now, first, the QB run game. Robert Griffin III's legs were a key part of Baylor's success, and the design QB run game played a big role in their offensive attack. His athleticism and explosiveness allowed Baylor to keep defenses off balance, constantly having to account for his running threat. By integrating these QB runs into our College Football 25 scheme, we can replicate the unpredictability and stress this puts on defenses, maximize minimizing our quarterback's dual threat potential and creating a more dynamic and explosive attack. The first play we're looking at is RPO bubble QB draw on 5 wide receiver. We have a bubble route to the outside, and if defense cheats or loads the box, we can simply throw that bubble to the outside receiver, and this gives us a quick and easy way to exploit an overcommitted defense and pick up yards on the edge. Then if the defense decides to stay honest and maintain coverage on the bubble, then we can keep the ball and run a QB draw right up the middle of the field. This will take advantage of light boxes, and this dual threat approach puts defenders in a bind, forcing them to choose between covering the outside or shutting down our QB run game. Next up, we have QB slot option and wide slot left weak. This play starts with a traditional read option where we read the defensive end or the R player, and if the end crashes down on the running back, we keep the ball with our QB and get out on the perimeter. From here, if the defenders flow towards the quarterback, we have our slot receiver as a pitch option, allowing us to pitch the ball out and give him a chance to make plays in open space. The slot receiver comes in from a weird part of the field and is usually not accounted for, and we're going to have plenty of green grass on the edge where we can get one of our elite athletes the ball in space. This play puts the defense in a bind, forcing them to either commit to the quarterback or risk giving up big plays on the edge, and this is our version of the triple option. The next huge element of the Baylor offense is constraint plays. These feature a motion or element on the play that the defense will cheat to stop, and once we have them cheating, we can go to the next version or variation of that play that will make the defense pay for being out of position. So the first play in this constraint sequence is motion RPO QB power in wide slot right weak. Now we want to run this to the wide side of the field, and the running back will go out on a swing pass, and we can fire it out on the edge and let him get in the open field, and this can lead to some really nice pickups on the edge of the defense with our running back. But if the user starts to leave the middle of the field to take away that swing, we can actually hold the ball, and now we're going to have a built-in QB power, and we can just follow our pulling offensive lineman on a design QB run that can be super explosive for getting our quarterback downhill and into open space. But then once we do see users start leaving the middle of the time when we're running the first version of this play to take away those swing passes, we want to go to the play motion slot cross, and now when the user leaves the middle to take the swing, we have a deep dig and a crosser attacking the middle of the field where the user was, and now we can just fire it into whichever one is more open for some big gains. To set this up, just come out with your swing to the wide side and put your H back on an option route, and now if the two crossers are covered down the field, he can be a good check down option as well. Then the third play in our constraint series is going to be the motion double pass. Now this play starts with that same running back motion, but now we're going to pass it to the running back, and it will be a backwards pass, and now our receivers will fake block and then streak down the field, and if the defenders bite down, we can just throw it deep over the top to our streak for a huge gain. But then if the defenders actually stay with our receivers down the field, then we can just take off with our running back, get into the open field, and pick up whatever yards are there. Now with just what you have here for this RG3 scheme, you will be in a great spot. But remember, there's part 2 of this offense up on Scheme Kings right now, and when you add that with everything you learned here, it's going to make the whole offense way more difficult to stop. But then if you want a full breakdown on the idea behind my full Veer and Shoot scheme with a deep dive into personnel we want to use and the principles and idea behind the Veer and Shoot, then you need to check out the intro video for the whole offense right here.